Hello there, sword friends. Today I have a box from Ronin Katana, and I thought I would just open it up with you while I record myself doing it, because that's what YouTube content people do. Anyway, not too long ago, I reached out to Ronin Katana and asked them for another review sample of a Dojo Pro. It's been many years since I've reviewed a Dojo Pro, and I like to think I've learned a few things, both about how to operate a camera and maybe how to break a sword. So that was the ask, but this box, which is here, is bigger than would typically include a Dojo Pro only. So I thought I would just open it up and see what's in the box. What's in the box? And I will review these things. It looks like there's two swords of some kind. We'll see what they are. And there's another thingy thing in here. I think I got it all. I hope so. Okay. Good. All right. Well, there's three thingies. There's a RK15, a Dojo Pro number 30, which is what I had hoped for, and then whatever is in this one here, which is a Euro number 6, but a small one. So we'll take a look. Do some quick initial impressions. So sticky. So this is the RK15, which is their entry-level series from what I recall. I reviewed one of these relatively recently, and I found it I reviewed, I think, the 13, but the RK series I found to be actually pretty functional for for a base level sword. Without spending a whole lot of money, they did some things that were pretty nice in terms of being able to be used for a practitioner tool. And this one looks very similar. Different fitting set, doesn't rattle. A little raspy, holds reasonably well. Yeah. My son just walked in the door, so he seems happy. All right, well, that one looks cool. A surprise. I did not expect to get more stuff, so that is fun and good. Let's see. The RK30, the other one in here, or not RK30, the Dojo Pro number 30. And this one I requested, even though it's a little bit on the small side and maybe reviewing an O Katana would be more appropriate. This one's got swirly mitsudomes on it, or at least it has a Suba on it that I happen to really like. It's got this hammer kind of finish to it, which I think is super zazzy, and it's a big old Dojo Pro. And feeling-wise, it's got some authority to it. It's been a while since I've held one of these. Yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm especially fond swirly mitsudomes, and this one, as I understand it, is under $300. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. No surprise to those of you that have heard me blab about swords for some time now, that I requested one that had swirly mitsudomes on it. And then this is, okay. This, I think, is something that they are either working on. I don't know if this is out yet or not, but this is a Euro number 6, and it is a Seax with like a Viking style hilt on it. And the hilt is just a little bit smaller, so as I chop for it, it's not punching into my wrist, which is what I look for by default. Holding it a little lower, it has that Viking grip that I'm so fond of. But right out of the box, this is different and going to be fun. Comes with this different leather scabbard that I've already somehow mixed up. Anyway, yeah, so here's what's in the box. My initial impressions, this is a different thing altogether, and it's got the cord wrap, feels pretty secure in my hand. I can see there's a gap in the guard, but it has a really pronounced large Viking sack shape. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's a it's a big hardy dagger, and I feel that there's some schmutz or something in the scabbard here that I want to pry out, but I will do it off camera. The leather sheath on it looks like it can hold. It's got little, but I don't know how well that's actually going to hold the piece, but I'll try it when I get to actually reviewing it. As it is, pretty cool looking piece. The RK sword, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this exactly. I revisited the review some time ago on it already, but I'll find something fun to do. This is a very usable sword for Iaido for practice or basic hunting. Last time I reviewed it, I was pretty impressed with the number 13, and this is a very similar sword in different clothes. But the Dojo Pro was the main purpose of the review request that I made, because these stand out in my mind as something that has held up really, really, really well. I'm not sure how well my microphone is picking up a crying baby, but these stand out in my mind as something that holds up really, really well, and some of the hardest swords I've had to break have been Ronin Dojo Pros. And so, but at the same time, I've changed the process that I use to review swords just a little bit over the last going on a decade now that I've been doing it. And so revisiting it I thought would be fun. Ronin was a very generous company some years ago and sent me some swords to review before others did. And so they were very early on in the development of how I have well, basically the process that I use, if you want to call it that. Anyway, the point is, as I think about swords and how well they hold up, in my mind, the Dojo Pros stood up as these things that have held up better than most, particularly given the price point. And I've always lauded them as something that, if you want something really durable and beefy, that they are a worthy thing to look at. Holding this one in my hand right now, though, I can already say that it's not a chunk. I remember the last Dojo Pro that I had being a bit on the stouter side. This is a little bit more lean. It's still certainly a stouter blade, but it's not a chunker. This feels like it's going to be very passable to do EI with. I like that the tip has a little bit of reinforcement. There's no bohea here, but I like that it's a slightly reinforced tip. I like that it has swirly mitsudomes on it. It slides in reasonably well. A little noisy, but on par for $300 swords. Doesn't fall out. And the Ito, it could be a little bit tighter, but at the same time, not bad. I don't feel it moving around if I push too much. Some of the knots will move under some pressure, but the sides don't seem to move around. So passable. Anyway, I'm gonna go and put this through the paces, see how well it holds up. That's my intention. Thanks to Ronin Katana for sending the extra bits as well. I will find some fun content to make with them, and especially showing the Seax type knife that is probably going to be of interest to a few other people. I'll figure out what kind of test to do with a Seax style knife with a Viking hilt on it. Anyway, this was the main purpose of what I was after. I'm pretty happy with it, and I do have to rethink a little bit because it feels better in my hand than I was expecting it to. And we'll get to the point eventually where I test and see how durable, if it holds up to the memory of Ronin Dojo Pros, and if it passes the hurdles that the swords that you get what I'm saying. I can't put words together at the moment because there's shiny swords in front of me. I will see if the new Ronin Dojo Pro holds up to the process that I use today, as well as my memory thinks it does, and if it deserves the reputation that I often give it and the recommendations that I often give people about it for folks that are looking for a budget sword that is very, very durable. I suspect it will, given that I've tested so many of them and they've been such a pain in the ass to break. But anyway, this one's got a swirly mitsudome on it, so I'm going to play with it for a while. I'm also going to practice with it, do EI with it a bit, cut some other things with it, and run it through the normal course. So it'll be a few months before I get to the actual reviewing. But since this big box was sitting here, I thought I would make a video, open it up, and share some initial thoughts with it about it. It's been a long day already at the office. I got some more stuff to do, not at the office. I work from home. But it's been a long day doing stuff for work, so my brain is a little mushy. And I'm always happy and jazzed up to get swords. But I do want to also point out, as I talk about other initial impressions, that I like the fitting set on this one better than the other the Dojo Pro 13. It had a neat looking Suba, but the Fuchikasha were a little different. I like these floral themes. They're simple, and I think they fit the casting quality that's on this sword a little bit better. They're not, obviously I can tell that it's a lower level sword in terms of cost, I mean, but it's okay. It doesn't seem particularly gaudy or poorly done. I like the overall execution. Cotton Ito as well, I think feels pretty good in the hand. This isn't any exception. It's a similar level of tightness to the Dojo Pro. A little raspier. The Saya is a better fit on the Dojo Pro, but it costs more money. And this feels very nimble, very light. In contrast, the Dojo Pro is a stouter blade, and seems a bit wider, but I'll eventually get to reviewing it and taking specs and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, yeah, I've rambled on enough. Thanks again to Ronin Katana for sending the review samples over. I will endeavor to do some fun stuff with them. If anyone has any questions about the particular blades, measurements, something like that, throw it in the commentary down below, and I will endeavor to answer. It will be, like I said, a bit before I get to the actual review process of making these kind of things, but if there's anything you'd like to see me do or see them put through, or anything that would satiate your curiosity, please let me know, and if it's within reason, I will endeavor to include it in the video that I make. Anyway, that's all I got. Cheers, and thanks for watching.